In this video, we are going to look at reactions of acids and bases. Here, the first reaction is acid plus base yields salt plus water. This we call a neutralization reaction. If we have an acid and a base, if they react together, they will cancel the effect of each other. So in this side we have an acid, and in this side we have a base. If they react together, they will just cancel the effect of each other, and both of them will come to the middle. So the substance which we'll have is neutral. The salt, the pH of the salt is 7, and water also 7. So the acid less than 6, the base more than 6, the pH. But if they react together, then they are going to neutralize each other and cancel the effect of each other and yield salt and water. Here we have the first example here. If we have HCl, this is acid plus base. Base, let's say potassium hydroxide. Now this reaction is going to yield the potassium will react with the chlorine. The salt will be KCl, potassium chloride. This is the salt, and plus water, H2O. We will not balance the equations. We will not care about balancing equations now, but as we can say, this equation is balanced. 2 hydrogen, and here we have 2 hydrogen, 1 potassium, and here we have 1 potassium, 1 chlorine, and here we have 1 chlorine. So this equation is balanced. What we care now is about the products. What is it going to produce? An acid, this is acid plus a base, gives us salt and water. What is the salt? What determines that is the reactant. So in this reaction we have potassium, this is the metal, and this is the chlorine, the non-metal. To write the chemical equation of the product, we start with the metal, then we write the non-metal, and we write the oxidation numbers and the valency, and we had a video about how to write oxidation numbers and valencies before. I'll give you another example here. If we have like H2SO4 sulfuric acid plus let's say we have NaOH sodium hydroxide plus sulfuric acid, this will give us the salt will be Na and SO4. It will be Na2SO4. And why Na2? Because the oxidation number of sulfate is 2, negative. So the sodium will take the oxidation of this one. We'll give you another example here. If we have, let's say, HNO3 plus this is acid plus a base, let's say calcium hydroxide. Okay, this will give us salt, calcium nitrate. The salt will be calcium nitrate, NO3. This we will put it in bracket and add 2 because the oxidation number of calcium is 2 positive. So this one here will be 2 plus water, H2O. This is the second reaction here. Let's look at another reaction of acids and bases. If we have acid and metal oxide, this will give us salt plus water, the same like the first one, but here we have metal oxide. What is metal oxide? Metal oxide is a metal with oxygen, like magnesium oxide, like calcium oxide. This is calcium oxide, magnesium oxide. Any metal with oxygen we call it a metal oxide. So acid HCl plus metal oxide, let's say calcium oxide, gives us the salt will be calcium chloride. Calcium chloride, we'll put 2 here because the oxidation number of calcium is 2, plus water, H2O. This equation is not balanced. We will not care about the balancing now. We'll just write the equations to see the reactants and the products. Another example, let's say it's H2SO4 plus calcium, let's say magnesium oxide. This will give us salt, is going to be magnesium sulfate. Magnesium sulfate, and the oxidation number of magnesium 2 and sulfate 2, so we'll not write them, plus water H2O. Let's look at another example here, another reaction, acid plus metal carbonate. Now carbonate because the acid has hydrogen and carbonate CO3. Metal carbonate is a metal with CO3. For example, calcium carbonate. This is metal carbonate. Magnesium carbonate. So the hydrogen will react with one oxygen to give us water, and we will end up with CO2. So this reaction will give us water and carbon dioxide beside the salt. So acid plus metal carbonate will give us salt plus water plus carbon dioxide. So example here, let's say HCl plus metal carbonate, calcium carbonate. This gives us salt, calcium chloride. Calcium chloride plus H2O plus CO2. Another example, H2SO4 plus calcium, let's say magnesium carbonate, will give us the salt magnesium sulfate. Magnesium sulfate plus water plus carbon dioxide. This the last example here, H3PO4 plus calcium carbonate will give us calcium phosphate. Calcium 3PO4 will be 2 because the oxidation of calcium is 2 and the oxidation of phosphate is 3. Calcium will take the oxidation of phosphate and phosphate will take the oxidation of calcium plus H2O plus CO2. So this is the reaction of acid plus metal carbonate. Now we're going to look at acid plus metal, only metal. This will give us salt plus hydrogen. So because the metal doesn't have oxygen, so it will not react with the hydrogen of the acid and it will not give us water. It will just give us hydrogen. If we have HCl plus zinc, this will give us zinc chloride. The salt will be like this. As you can see, all the reactions, the salt is going to be produced by the metal and the part of the non-metal of the acid. So it will give us zinc chloride plus H2. Then we will balance the equation. Here, let's say H2SO4 plus magnesium. This will give us magnesium sulfate. Magnesium sulfate plus H2 hydrogen, and this is the reaction between an acid and a metal. How we're going to look at acid plus salt will give us salt plus acid. Is it the same? Let's say if is it going to be the same or different. If we have here H2SO4, this is acid, plus salt. The salt, let's say NaCl. This will give us salt. The salt will be, we said, the part of the metal from here with the part of the non-metal of the acid will give us Na2SO4 plus. Now we still have hydrogen here and here we have chlorine. This will give us acid. The acid is going to be HCl. So at the beginning we had sulfuric acid. Now we have hydrochloric acid, and here at the beginning we had sodium chloride as a salt. Now the salt is sodium sulfate. So we see there is rearrangement of the atoms. This you studied before is double displacement reaction, so everyone will displaces the other to produce other compounds. Here I'll give you another example. If we have HNO3 plus salt. Let's say a salt we have like potassium chloride. This will give us salt, potassium, and nitrate. It will be potassium, nitrate, plus the acid is going to be HCl, and that is it about reactions of acid and salt. Here we have metal oxide plus water. This will give us base. So if we have a metal oxide, and we know what is a metal oxide, like if we have magnesium oxide plus water, H2O. Now this will jump to here to make the hydroxide group of the base, and the magnesium will be with it. So this will give us magnesium hydroxide. This is the base, magnesium hydroxide. Now if we look at the equation here, we have two hydrogen, and here because of this we have two hydrogen, and we have 1 2 oxygen, and now we have 1 2 oxygen, and this is 1 magnesium, and this is 1 magnesium. So metal oxide plus water gives us a base. Another example, metal oxide, let's say calcium oxide plus water, H2O. This will give us what? A base, which is calcium hydroxide. This is a base. This is a chemical reaction between a metal oxide and water. Let's look at another reaction. Here we have non-metal oxide plus water. This is going to give us acid, and this is we will take it with more details in acid rain. So if we have non-metal oxide like non-metal like carbon, and this is the oxide, carbon dioxide plus water, H2O. This will give us this reversible reaction because this will produce a weak acid. So carbon dioxide plus water will give us carbonic acid, H2CO3. Non-metal oxide plus water gives us acid. Another example, here we have SO4 plus H2O, and this will give us H2SO3. And focus here, it is SO3. This is sulfurous acid. We have another acid, H2SO4. This is sulfuric acid, and this is sulfurous acid. Notice the difference between them. And here, let's have just some practice. In the exam or something, you'll have equations. Then you need to complete the equations or just to write equations. Now, if we have example like this, HCl plus dash gives us magnesium chloride plus water. So the salt is magnesium chloride, and this is acid. So it gives us salt plus water. It got to be here a base. So what is the base which gives us magnesium? With the magnesium is magnesium hydroxide. Magnesium hydroxide, or another possibility is magnesium oxide. So, but any answer here is going to be right as long as you have the same rule. Here we have acid plus base gives us salt plus water. Another example here, we have dash, I don't know what is the substance, plus metal carbonate, calcium carbonate will give us calcium sulfate plus water plus I don't know. Now we have a reaction with metal carbonate. What will give us salt plus water and plus another substance is a reaction between an acid and a metal carbonate. Now the part of this will give us the name of the acid as long as we have sulfate, so it is going to be H2 SO4. How do I know it is H2SO4? Because it is an acid, and this acid give us sulfate, so it's going to be sulfuric acid. Now sulfuric acid plus calcium carbonate will give us salt plus water plus carbon dioxide, as we saw from the rules before. Here we have another reaction. Potassium oxide plus I don't know what substance will give us potassium hydroxide. This is a base. So, and this is metal oxide. Metal oxide plus what gives us potassium hydroxide? A base is plus water. So if this reacts with water, H2O O is going to give us a base, and this is the base potassium hydroxide. Potassium oxide plus H2O will give us potassium hydroxide, and this is base. I hope that is clear. Until the next video, ciao.